Hello and welcome back to the Cine Club podcast with me, Rhys.
Me, Connell.
Me, Matthew.
Me, Bebe.
And this week we're going to be looking at the future of film and what's to come in 2025. But first, we're talking about Airplane.
Airplane. What's that?
Well, it's a big metal bird that people pay to sit in, but that's not important right now. We're on about Airplane. What do you all think of it?
It's good. It's very good.
It is.
It is still really funny. It's kind of one of their first narrative ones, like the directors did, because like they did Kentucky Fried Movie before that, but that was like just a bunch of sketches. So it's like basically their first. And so I don't think it's their best. I think like some of the Naked Gun stuff and like that came after was a bit funnier, but it is still pretty funny. It's still funny.
Yeah. I think you can tell that it's the first attempt at like doing a proper narrative, because they still managed to like. I don't know, there's only one set, obviously, it's just the airplane and like bits around the airplane. But they still managed to weave in like random, kind of like Family Guy cutaway jokes, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
With the scene in the bar, that's a massive highlight, the whole like Saturday Night Fever thing. That was brilliant, that.
I thought it went on for too long, mate.
It did go on for a bit too long, I agree.
It was a bit tedious because I realised it was the extended club remix of Staying Alive. Like, I mean, I love the song, but like, it's just when it gets to about 12 freaking minutes long. Like,
but no, I know what you mean, Rhys. Yeah, I quite liked how they did that as well.
Yeah, I think it takes a little while to... Like, there's really funny jokes near the start, but I think it takes a little while to really get in a groove. There's like a certain point, I think around maybe when they introduce Stryker is when like every single subplot's got like jokes and jokes that just keep going on and like in a good way, like keep just hitting and so I think it takes a little while to hit its stride, but it's still pretty good. Like
you can it does get way more absurd towards the end of the film. Like I think if you showed someone the start of this film and the end of this film, you would not think they're the same film. The start of it's so normal, and then the end of it is absolutely insane. With everything, I think the marker for that is like the autopilot. I think he's a big marker for the absurdity of this film. He was brilliant. I love him. He's the best actor in that film.
He's really good. Well, I mean, he was casted as one of the main roles at the end credits.
He was on the DVD cover as well.
Must have got paid for it. So.
I don't know. I think one of the things about what makes these films so funny is kind of when the jokes are really unexpected and out of nowhere. So I think in some ways the film's legacy maybe is a bit detrimental to it because like you kind of already know some of the jokes. But yeah. I don't know what.
Yeah, like that was just daft.
Yeah, I do get what you mean. Daft. Yeah, having seen Naked Gun before this, you really can see where they're going. Like, oh, here's the setup, and they're going to do this, and then they do that, and you kind of get, oh yeah, you're not laughing. Like, yep, I'm right. Whereas Naked Gun, you have the setup. You think they're going to do something, and they do something else.
Yeah.
Right.
Which, like, kind of adds a third layer to it, because it proves that they've got way better at what they're doing.
Yeah, you prefer Naked Gun, don't you?
I love Naked Gun. It's a brilliant film.
I haven't seen Naked Gun.
I think Airplanes... I prefer Airplane, mate.
What is it specifically about Airplane?
I don't know, actually. I don't know what it is about Airplane that I like, maybe, because, I don't know. It might just be the fact that it's all on an airplane. It might be that, and it's like, well, not all of it, you know what I mean, most of it.
Yeah.
But it's that, and it's like just the jokes, and mainly it's Leslie Nielsen's sort of deadpan delivery. I think he plays the same character in every film he's in, which is an issue. Well, apart from every comedy he's in, I mean, I don't mean when he was doing serious roles.
Though even retroactively, like when you watch something he's been in before he did comedy, you just keep expecting him to say something ridiculous.
Him as any other character.
Like I kind of saw him as just like a one, like, trick pony kind of actor, like just the same dude.
I see what you mean.
He's kind of like Jim Carrey, like how he basically just plays himself, like in every role, but like it works.
Well, I feel like he definitely gets sillier by the time he's in Naked Gun, because like the joke in this is that he's so straight. But then like in Naked Gun and stuff, they have him like mug a bit more at the camera and stuff. So I think his use changes a bit, but like
what I really want to see in one of those films is like just crack a smile that they forgot to edit out. Like
he's about to Airplane Mind. Where,
is there?
Yeah, like there's some bits where you can tell they were trying not to laugh. I swear.
Right.
Especially I don't know what the actor's called, but he plays the main character in it. Is he called Jim or Tim or something?
The main guy who was like got the
airplane.
Yeah.
I think he was. There was some bit where I thought it looked like he was about to break out. I loved him in Airplane as well. He was really my favourite character. He was great. When he's flying the plane, he's just sweating. It's going from like a scalp as well.
Yeah, so dripping with sweat. It's brilliant.
I love when he's doing like his flashbacks, but like they just get more like where it's like pre-plane plane.
They got the plane with like 10 wings on it. Yeah, instantly flops over.
So one of them was just a fella dressed as a plane. So funny. Oh my god,
that's one of the best baiting switches in that whole film, because that's what it's on about, the setup, and then they do the punchline, but that's a whole movie setup.
Yeah.
And then at the very end you're like, oh god, they're doing this again. And then there's just some like dude jumping off a cliff or something.
And like it's the fact it's like the war, and it's like Striker and him are in the same war, even though he's like
30 years older. I spent the whole film trying to work out what war they're on about. Like, it was so confusing.
It's just a war.
World War
convinced
III.
it's just a war that never existed. It's all in his head. Because it can't be set in the real world. All the people are lunatics. It's terrifying.
Oh, we need a World War airplane. That's what we need.
World War airplane. Terrifying.
I mean, like, honestly though, what would happen in everyday life? You just wake up, like, and something weird happens.
You wake up, you tell the horse to get out of bed.
My husband's coming home.
You go out the door, some Mormons asking you for some donation. You got to drop kick them as you go. There's a bit in, this is off topic, right? There's a bit in The Amazing World of Gumball, okay? You know the balloon character Alan, right?
Yes.
Oh, I know this.
There's a bit where he's deflating in the bathroom.
Yes,
and then Gumball has to and Gumball's in there. And he just kind of, he looks at Gumball says, what am I going to do? How do I help you? And Alan just looks at him and raises like the end of the balloon up. And Gumball walks out and he says, I'm never going to speak about that again. I think that was an Airplane reference, personally. Both of them involve sucking off a balloon. So...
I think
I never want to hear you show those words again. Ever.
I think that you can definitely see the film's influence on like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think, it's such a cartoony movie, it definitely has influenced a lot of cartoons.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, it influenced a film. I wouldn't be surprised, by the way, if none of you know what I'm talking about.
Fair.
There was a film made by a YouTuber. I don't know what it was called. It was called Airplane Mode.
Oh god!
And it was. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Isn't that by Jake Paul?
Jake Paul, that's his name.
Ew!
It was that, and I'd seen a bit of it, and it's like Airplane, but if someone sucked all the humour out of it.
Yes,
that's what it. That's
Is it
what
like
it was.
they like put all the like early 2000s memes onto a plane, and you see like Nyan Cat like in the background or something like that. Yeah, I remember that.
It's insane. Get me off that plane now.
There's one ad.
Would you want to be on this plane?
There's one ad for like.
I'd rather be on that plane.
There's one ad for tourism in New Zealand as well, where this guy gets on a plane. He sits next to Elijah Wood, but obviously New Zealand is Lord of the Rings land. That's where everyone wants to go. But they haven't like shot like Lord of the Rings do to make it look like Elijah Wood's smaller, and just like shrunk him down in CGI. So he sits next to like 3 foot or something Elijah Wood there.
How big this plane?
I know. And it looks so weird. It looks so funny. Like there's lots of funny airplane bits in other films now that I think about it.
Yeah.
It's definitely influenced.
Yeah.
It has.
It's brilliant. And so how do I think that holds up to a modern audience, Airplane?
Quite well. I mean, we're a modern audience.
Yeah.
I
think there are some stuff that's dated, and not necessarily in the way. I think whenever we say a comedy's dated, our minds instantly go like, "Oh, you found it offensive," and like maybe there's some stuff like that we could debate here and there. But like sometimes I felt like the jokes were dated more in like it was probably funnier if you were there at the time. Like the smoking ticket joke is still funny, but I feel like it probably was funnier when you used to be allowed to smoke on planes at all. And I don't know, just little things like that where I'm like, I can interpret what the joke is, but I feel like maybe it's just funnier if you were there at the time.
Basketball player who was on the plane as well.
Oh yeah, I had no clue.
I don't know what he was called, but
until he was self-cast at the end. Yeah,
I was like, I don't understand what's going on at all. But, yeah,
I thought the kid was just insane.
I was watching the thing, and this is the weirdest advert I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, I know what you mean. There are some bits that were dated. Yeah, but there are some. Yeah, like bits. So say like the Israel Air joke was like unbelievable. I was just sat in shock. You know?
Yeah.
And even some bits like sorry, go on.
No, sorry, it's just I suppose the thing Steve brought up, or like the thing you could argue is like, oh, the makers were Jewish, they can make Jewish jokes, and it's like, I don't know, either way you could.
Yeah. Like a lot of the audience isn't Jewish though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
like,
it's kind of, you're getting like a bunch of people to laugh at that.
Laugh at a Jewish
I don't know.
Yeah. It's a bit of a dodgy territory, I think.
I don't know though, because like personally, from me, like loving all types of comedy, like as well as dark humor and stuff like that, I think is like, if you find the joke funny, you find the joke funny. If you don't, you don't. It's like, it may offend you, like, or it may offend some people, but it's like, that's kind of just what the creators want to just get across. So like sometimes you have to be a bit risky, like to maybe just get a laugh out of things.
The biggest example in Airplane is the old woman who can speak jive. Which was unbelievable. I remember seeing people's faces, and I was like, "Yeah, this is." Because
the initial gag, I was a bit like, "Is that not just like?" Because the initial gag of like these two men are talking jive, and it's got subtitles. Is that not just like, haha, don't black people talk funny? But then as it went on, and they had like the woman who also talks jive, I was a bit like, okay, that's kind of feels like more of a joke on her, and like I feel like that's playing with it a bit more. Because I feel like the thing is, when we talk about jokes that rely on stereotypes and archetypes, we could talk about like, well, is that just you being offended? But like, it's also like the jokes get old when it's like playing on the same archetypes over and over. So I feel like sometimes when we criticize certain types of comedy, there's also that argument of like, could we be more creative? And I feel like it is a film that is quite creative at times. I don't know.
There are times where no, I see where you're coming from. I don't know. I mean, yeah, you don't see, like, when you talk about does it hold up to a modern audience, you don't see any films now that are like Airplanes in terms of like how, would you say, irreverent? And just absurd it is. Like what comedies have come out recently? It's like, I don't know, the first one that comes to mind is that Tag film, but that was ages ago.
I think the outright comedy movie is like a dead art now.
It is. I think it died with so much. It died with the Scary Movie films.
You
know,
because parody has definitely been put on the back burner after people got sick of those. I feel like a big debate in comedy right now is like the editing isn't as tight. That's the argument I hear from a lot of people. There's too much getting people who aren't that good at ad-libbing to ad-lib. And like, we need tighter editing is the argument I hear. And I feel like it's an Airplane, I think, is a very quick film. Like, a lot of the jokes are very quick and paced well. And I think that's maybe something we could take from that now.
I think as well, like, comedy's more been like subsumed by every other genre now.
Right,
to the fact there's no need for a comedy movie, because you have action comedy, horror comedy, romance comedy, children like family comedy. Like, everything's a bit of comedy now, but actual comedy itself in a 90-minute film is probably very hard to do. Like Airplane, I feel like some of the jokes didn't land, whereas like what the producers want, what everyone wants, is you want every joke to land. And it'll be really hard to do, I can imagine. And speaking of modern audiences, as we are one, what are we excited for in 2025? Personally, I'm really excited for Superman. I think that's going to be make or break for DC in general.
Right.
I mean, I think I'm surprised I'm excited for it, because I think superhero films, you know, most people, I think it's 50-50 now. I think it's like Marmite. It's the new Marmite. You either love it or you really just want them to stop. I don't want them to stop. I just want them to, you know, I just think we've had a bit too many, you know. It's what biopics are becoming as well. I think you're getting loads of biopics now. But I'm looking forward to it.
Although you liked the last biopic.
I liked the last one, but Rhys won't let me talk about it. No. He's not very nice.
No.
Okay.
I'm not.
Rhys won't let me do my impression.
Go on then. 2 seconds.
No, I'm not doing it now. I'm not doing it now.
Oh, come on, I want to hear.
I know the
Where have you been? Blue Handsome. There you go. But I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. That was a good film. But,
I was watching this YouTube video yesterday, actually, like going through every MCU film and seeing what it's like in retrospective, and he said that, like, because every MCU film up until that point had been an ingredient for Infinity War and Endgame, so I've been building up to that. Post that, you just go back to having the very, very formulaic origin story, like Black Widow. Even like DC are doing the same thing. They've made everyone sick of it as well with, I don't want to say Man of Steel, but like Blue Beetle.
Yeah, but
and that was like, very under the radar.
Yeah, are you not worried that that's what Superman's going to be like them? Because I think a lot of people have got faith in James Gunn, but there's still it's a lot of pressure.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I feel like he'll deliver though. It's James Gunn.
Yeah,
like it's,
I really hope he does.
He doesn't miss James Gunn often. He does. He's done Scooby Doo.
You can't say he doesn't miss and then say Scooby Doo.
Oh, it's a brilliant film.
The Scooby Doo movies are great.
Are we all having a wind up?
No.
Scooby Doo.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of us want to go on a Scooby rant, but that's a different story. Yeah, James Gunn, he doesn't miss, but like, thing is though, Superman, he's not as much of an ensemble character as like something like the Guardians and the Suicide Squad are.
Right.
Yeah. Like, this is a film about Superman. Obviously, he's got a supporting character. He's got Lois. He's got Jimmy. Guy Gardner's in this film, which is baffling.
Weird.
That is insane. that he is
really
he is the first Green Lantern to appear on screen since Ryan Reynolds, Hal Jordan. Yeah.
We don't talk about that.
What a choice that is. But yeah, it could just
when
be
did
another
Teen
film
Titans Go to the Movies come out?
Oh god!
First live action. Wait, go on.
I mean, Zack Snyder had his weird little monkey Green Lantern thing. Weird little ape man. Yeah.
Oh
yeah, in the Snyder Cut. Yeah,
oh, yeah,
that was a thing.
That's
he was in there for like 2 seconds. I haven't watched it. I don't know, but like actual Green Lantern characters, he's on there. The most hateable Green Lantern. He's going to be brilliant in this film.
He's going to be.
So.
Yeah.
I think that he could make that work.
I think he could. Oh, no, I was going to say I generally don't think he's going to be in it much. I reckon it's going to be a joke, and they're going to kill him immediately.
Oh, that'd be so good. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think I wouldn't love.
I wouldn't.
I don't know. I'm not
be
particularly attached to the character, so maybe I'd be fine with it. But.
No one is. Don't worry. We all hate him.
Guy Gardner.
Everyone's got someone who loves him.
A whole arc of like a Justice League comic knocked out in the kitchen once. He bashed his head into the sink. Spent about half the series like knocked out, and he gets back up halfway through and immediately hits his head again, and is gone for the rest of that run.
Well, that's kind of reminds me of, at one point they had this thing with Hal Jordan where they were making him like a klutz. Like that was the thing they were doing with him.
Mental that.
There's so many Green Lanterns as well. That's going to be the thing they're going to have to master here in this film.
Lanterns in general, like I want to see other Lantern Corps show up. Like if Sinestro does properly, like cool. As in properly, other than being at a post-credit scene.
They try to do that like God knows how long ago.
Yeah, they did that in Green Lantern.
I mean, I hope it does well. I think it will.
So.
I think it'll do quite well, but you know, I'm not going to hold my breath just yet. But I'm really excited for it either way.
And speaking of action blockbusters. Oh, blockbusters! There's the pun. The Minecraft movie is coming out. It's coming out soon. Yeah, you get it. Thank you. Blockbusters. Yeah. There we go. Funny.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't want to like.
I don't know about this one.
There's a reason I'm not like because I just don't think Jack Black's funny.
No,
and I don't. I think it should have been all animated. I don't know why it's a live action.
Well, that's the thing where it's like its art style is the most well known thing about the game.
Yeah, and then it's like doing Scooby Doo but with no dog.
Yeah,
it's like wait, does not do that. I just realised.
Yeah,
in Velma.
Yeah, they did that.
Oh god, yeah.
Yes.
We don't talk about that
show. For ages.
Yeah. But I'll probably I'll end up seeing it at some point. I don't know why. I'll just find myself.
It's one of those films. It's what Wicked was this year and Barbie and Oppenheimer was last year.
In that
it's like the biggest. It's
a big thing. It's
the big film that like Nana's going to go and see.
Is it that big?
I have not heard many people talk about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. True. When it gets closer though, it's that the general audience can get into it. Is what I mean. Like,
right. Yeah.
Because like I saw someone on Twitter saying, "Oh yeah, I liked Wicked. It was even better than Barbie." I was like, "Oh my god, do you want to go see 2 films a year?" Like I think we forget that sometimes.
It's kind of like
students.
the Oscar discourse with Barbie, where it's like, other films exist, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they tried to show that other films exist with that Emilia Perez thing, and that was. I don't want to remember that.
I still haven't seen that.
Oh,
I didn't know
it was.
I knew it was a thing, but I've seen that. I've seen that bit that you're referring to. I've seen that, and I genuinely thought it was like an SNL sketch.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I thought the whole world was pulling my leg. I was like, this can't be real.
Yeah,
this is someone's joking.
It was from what I've seen, it's awful. I'm not going to give Netflix the satisfaction.
I think you've all been paid off by the wizard or whatever. This is like me nan's talking about Wicked now. I'm like, what's going on? I need to see this film.
Yeah.
It was alright. Like,
it's brilliant.
Rhys's, the hatred in Rhys's eyes there. What I was expecting, but it never came.
But Minecraft is not going to stick the landing.
No,
guaranteed.
Definitely
right.
won't.
Who else is in it?
Jason Momoa.
Oh, okay.
Wearing bright pink, the whole thing. And with that, we're out of time for this episode. Don't forget you can send us your thoughts at cineClub.podcast@sparksonline.com. Tell us what you're excited about. Tell us what you're not excited about this year. As always, this episode was recorded by us, the Sunderland University students, and edited by Emily Main. A special thanks to Steve Cannon, Barbara Sadler, and Richard Berry. A reminder that our hosts this week have been
Matthew,
Connell,
Bebe,
and me, Rhys. Don't forget, this has been a CineClub production for Spark. Thanks for listening. Good luck. We're all counting on you.